The Game Developers Conference for this year already happened back in March, but Microsoft dropped a video a few days ago where they discussed details on Xbox cloud gaming for game publishers and developers that would be interested in launching their game on their cloud platform. Much of this presentation is already common knowledge for most people who have already used Xbox Cloud, but some of this presentation has some really good information that you might want to know about. I'll put the full video available for our members, but I have key points here for you now.
So at Xbox, it's our mission to enable you to play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want. And 6 years ago, my manager Gus was on this stage, or a stage like this at GDC, talking about Project xCloud at the time and what we called it then. I still have the xCloud shirt. So at GDC 2019, Gus promised three things: that Xbox was going to deliver a platform that enables you to reach players around the world, that you can do so by writing your game one time and streaming it to any device. We would do the work to make it compatible with any device, and enable you to use your existing expertise, not learning how to create a new platform from scratch.
So I think that everyone in this room is looking for ways to reach more players and increase the return on investment that you've made when developing your game. So that's why at Xbox, we've been investing in cloud gaming to unlock hundreds of millions of new devices and customers that your games can reach. And finally, as we announced at CES this year, we're really excited to bring the Xbox app to LG Smart TVs later this year, adding even more devices where people can play via cloud. And across all of these device types, in October through December of 2024, people streamed 140 million hours of games via Xbox Cloud Gaming. It was super, super exciting for us to see.
140 million hours across all these devices. I want to know if what's that compared to? Like, how much is that compared to, like, say, either Sony or either GeForce Now? If that's higher or lower, and by how much?
I want to know how much of that is free play as well.
That's true. Yes. How much is that free play on Fortnite versus actually on Game Pass Ultimate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Very good question.
And to make it as easy as possible to reach these players on these devices, years ago, we made the decision that we were going to stream console games, because we knew that the moment that we're going to make developers, make a different version of their game, or call some special API, or package their game differently, or submit it through a different developer portal, all that was going to do was just going to restrict the number of games that we had available on cloud. And that's the opposite of what we wanted to do. So our number one goal as we were building out the platform for developers was to make sure that if you build a game for the Xbox console, then it will run great on Xbox Cloud Gaming.
So they did console only on purpose, of course. Yeah, just to get the console gamers. I mean, that it makes sense.
Yep.
And to make sure that it worked for console gamers. And it makes perfect sense. So, I mean, if they go with the hybrid console for the next one, they're going to make sure that everybody's involved, everyone is situated, and everybody has access to the games, not just console, but yeah, console, PC, and whomever. So, I mean, this is really a step in a good direction going forward.
And every day, we see people playing across a variety of devices via the cloud. You can see the chart here on the right. This is a breakdown of the cloud gameplay hours on Game Pass for the month of December 2024 across all these different devices. And people are really playing everywhere. They're playing on Xbox One consoles, they're playing on smart TVs, Windows PCs, Series X and S, mobile, and other devices. And as we've seen cloud gaming grow over the years, we've really noticed a huge variety in the way that people are using it on different devices. And cloud gaming doesn't mean one thing for customers or developers. Like, it really enables that variety. So let's just take a look at a few of the use cases that we've noticed when people play on cloud. So with apps on leading TV platforms, we've made it easier than ever to play on the big screen without needing a console. our browser-based experience on xbox.com/play, as I mentioned earlier, really extends the reach of all the way up to AAA gaming on non-gaming PCs, Macs, Chromebooks, phones, handhelds, and other devices. We've also seen a lot of interest on mobile and people wanting to bring their games with them on the go. Now, if you're a console or a PC player, there's a really great benefit to cloud, and that's that you can try a game streaming it via the cloud before you download it. And we know that game sizes are getting bigger and bigger, and it's a bigger decision for customers to decide, even if it's on Game Pass, like whether or not to try your game. And so being able to stream it via cloud, seeing if you like it, if you like the game or not, and then downloading it for a higher fidelity experience is something that we see happening all the time. And if you are on an Xbox One console, then you can actually stream Xbox Series X and S games directly to your console without the need to upgrade your hardware. So just opening up, more games to more people. And as a result of all this flexibility, we're really seeing more people than ever playing across multiple devices.
So what do you think about this graph? I thought that mobile would be bigger.
I'm not surprised because I'll be real. When you're playing a console game, I don't envision playing a console game on a mobile device very well. I mean, you got to have something hooked up into it. Like if I don't have a Bluetooth or something, like I'm not using that screen controller.
Yeah, I mean, So I mean, if you're a console gamer, you're not a mobile gamer per se. So it's new. It's
Right.
new. But I find this very interesting that between Xbox One, the Series S and X, and Windows PCs, it's all kind of even.
So even with smart TVs, it looks like it's right about.
Yes, and even smart TVs.
Yeah.
Which means a lot of smart TV. Well, that people on smart TVs play console games, of course. So it's kind of almost obvious that smart TVs would kind of be dominating because if they can play on your smart TV without the console, that seems like right up their alley.
Mm-hmm.
I'm amused that they break down Windows PCs versus other desktops, but mobile is just mobile. We don't want to talk about platform with mobile.
Yeah, no.
I'm surprised Xbox One users there still are, with as much time has passed since the Xbox One. But I would think that'd be a lot smaller. But seeing that, like, it's still like a huge piece. It's like, wow.
Latency is fun.
When many people think about cloud gaming,
So fun.
latency is probably the first thing that comes to mind. We know it's not just a fast-paced shooter that can be negatively impacted by latency. It's even if you're playing a turn-based strategy game, if it has a virtual cursor and you're moving that cursor around with your gamepad, that can feel really bad with latency. So it's not just fast-paced games or slow-paced games. Any game can be negatively impacted by latency. So over the years, we've worked to develop a really careful, thoughtful, pragmatic approach to address this challenge. And that approach really requires that we deeply understand all of the different parts of the platform where latency can be introduced. So to really dig into latency, we should briefly discuss what's happening. Your game is running on custom-built Xbox console hardware deployed into Azure data centers, and your player is on their own device, maybe hundreds of miles away. The video needs to make it to the player, the input needs to make it back to the server, and that happens many, many times every
This
second.
should just play your everything you need to know about cloud.
And so the way we look at
video.
it is cloud gaming encompasses 4 steps. First, we capture and encode the data on the server. And that doesn't just include audio and video data, but it could include input data, like should your controller be rumbling with haptics? Or are you in a party chat and you want to hear what your party is saying? Then all of that gets transferred over the internet. Your device, whether it's a small, a phone or a big smart TV or even your Xbox console, receives that stream and decodes and renders that data. So all of the video gets displayed, all of the audio gets played, all of the party chat audio gets played, and maybe your controller starts rumbling. And then, of course, we take the user's input and sends it all the way back to the server. And again, this cycle is happening ongoing upwards of 60 times per second.
I swear, man. Sometimes I wish I didn't put that video out until I saw this. I could just use this.
You know, of course, you know, the video that's already been made for us, but like, it was good to see that they actually took the time to explain what cloud gaming is, because so many people still, they're like, well, how does this work? Or they have no idea how it works, and they're wondering why certain things are happening. And this like gave an official from their end.
Yeah, people have no idea. So, you know, having this is a great source of just to show people how it works, because this is brand new to people. I mean, no one knows anything about the cloud. All they know is that, oh, I'm streaming stuff, and with your controls and everything have to do with you know, sending it back to the server. That's something you don't do with, let's say, Netflix or any other streaming device where you're just streaming movies. It's your inputs is a whole other thing on top of the you know, the time it takes to capture and encode that video. So
latency does not matter
with everything.
With any streaming of video, latency doesn't matter as long as you don't get under the buffering.
Yeah.
If you get under the buffering, then latency matters. But if you start it and it stops for 5 seconds, but it continues perfectly from then, who cares? You're just watching your movie.
Yep.
Gaming?
Yeah. It's a different story.
So throughout this process, input latency can be introduced at any part of this process. It's not just transport over the internet. First, every game, and the game developers in the room I'm sure know this, has its own input latency. Whether you're playing on a console or on a PC or on cloud, there's always some amount of input latency there just in your core game loop before the game does whatever it's supposed to do as a response to the user's input. Then it takes time to capture and encode. Not that much time, but it does take time to encode the video, encode the audio, and get it ready to send over the internet. Only after that process do we transmit the data over the internet. And thankfully, the speed of light is pretty fast, but even during transmit, things like packet loss can happen, and we need to retransmit the data again. And there's other challenges that we run into along the way. And then finally, the user's device needs to decode and render that data, which can take quite a long time depending on a number of different variables. And the thing about the decode and render phase is that, you know, maybe the challenge is that we don't know what's going on at every part of the stack. We have plenty of our own analytics, and we can tell within our own platform code what's happening, where we're spending time, where the challenges and opportunities are. But for example, somebody might have a really cheap Bluetooth gamepad that they bought 10 years ago, and it doesn't perform very well. Or maybe they have a smartphone that has a touch screen that's slow to respond, which we've seen, maybe not recently.
I'm not using the Mad Catz controller, you're using the Mad Catz controller. Or maybe you're on a TV or a laptop with a really old LCD that's just kind of blurry and it responds slowly. All of these different elements can introduce latency. And all of these different variables are things that we cannot really measure. So since our own data can only tell us part of the story, we invented and invested in other ways to objectively understand how things are going. And so that brings
this is why I say every situation is different. I swear, so many people ask, how do I solve my latency? Your situation might be completely different from mine. Somebody else's situation will be completely different from mine and yours. Everybody's situation is different. It's very hard.
That's why we don't like to do troubleshooting.
Oh man!
Don't ask us to troubleshoot. Jeez. We can give you advice, but I ain't troubleshooting.
So those were the main points we wanted to highlight. Let us know your thoughts on this in the comments below. And if you like this cloud chat on Xbox Cloud Gaming, give us a like. And make sure to subscribe to keep it locked right here at the only place where you can do battle in gaming heaven, Cloud Gaming Battle.